Should you do concrete cutting, rank and rent in Eastern Europe? Look, rank and rent applies in any country of the world. This is how I would approach it, whether you are in Eastern Europe or anywhere around the world, in any space. I would first learn how to understand the competitive space. In other words, what kind of keywords get entered into Google and what kind of profit they might bring. So for example, concrete cutting, concrete pumping, concrete pouring, window installation, you name a trade keyword, at least in Australia or America or English-speaking countries, that's quite an expensive service. So it makes sense to target it for rank and rent. So the next step is, okay, let's take the keyword concrete cutting. I then will look at the competitors in the suburb and city. Yes, we would love to rank for concrete cutting Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, but that's just not going to be realistic in a reasonable amount of time with essentially a fake website. Because let's be honest, a lead gen site initially, rank and rent, the whole idea of it in my eyes is to build 10 sites, build them out, let them marinate, and keep an eye on which one progresses. And you'll have this 1 out of 2, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 10 will just skyrocket. And that's the one that you spend more time on. So understand the keyword and the potential profit it might bring to the potential business. For example, concrete pouring, concrete cutting in Melbourne, Australia is quite an expensive service. The next step is to understand who are the websites that are at the moment getting that traffic. Because let's be real, our rank and rent, fake lead gen site, we could make it as legitimate as business as possible, but you will not overtake a legitimate business with an office environment, with a warehouse, with trucks, with Google listings, a 10-year-old domain with 50 Google reviews. But there no doubt will be keywords like suburb-related keywords, like concrete cutting Brighton or concrete cutting Bondi, which are just suburbs in Australia, that potentially have very low competition. And so I don't know what your ability is on the SEO front, how good of an SEO you are, but if you're just starting out, a very sensible approach is to pick up a domain with the suburb. So concrete cutting suburb, if it has traffic. Hopefully, don't be afraid of the key term if it has 10 to 20 monthly visitors on SEMrush or Ahrefs. That's already going to be hard enough for you to rank if you're beginning in the space. Formula is simple. Look at the keyword, look at the potential profit it might bring if a business is closed in that space, whether it's painting, whether it's home renovations, whether it's bathroom renovations. Then look at the competitors that are currently hogging those keywords. So look at the websites at the top, look how big those websites are, look how much traffic they're getting, look at the pages that they have, look at the blogs that they have, look at the backlinks that they have. So you're essentially deconstructing the competitors. I think you should forget about a keyword that gets more than 100 to 200 monthly searches if you are just starting out. Let's be realistic. The legitimate businesses with office environments will dominate that space for a while. Not to say that you shouldn't try, but let's just say, yes, I can pick up a domain which is concrete cutting Melbourne or concrete cutting Sydney, and if it was available, I probably would pick it up and build it out and let it marinate, but I wouldn't expect much from it versus a domain concrete cutting suburb of Melbourne, if that term gets search volume. Some don't. For example, security systems, CCTV, tree removal, lawn mowing are all keywords that definitely do get search volume. Some don't. Okay? Your second question was, why don't I own the whole of Australia? A very insensible approach. The reason I don't need to do that right now because I've been doing rank and rent for over 15 years, and rank and rent was the most logical, ethical way that I got into SEO because I didn't want to take people's money and figure out how to rank their site with their money. So what I did, I picked up my own domains to build a portfolio and to genuinely learn SEO. What ended up happening with my portfolio is I ended up having hundreds of sites in different spaces, legal, medical, all the spaces, trades. So what happened was, because I'm located in Melbourne and I'm Bayside based and I went to school here, and a lot of my contacts are here, a lot of my sites began to rank at the top of Google around this area. And so what naturally happened is people wanted those leads, but then they wanted me to build a website. They wanted me to rank the website. They wanted me to run their Google ads. So I naturally, by accident, became an agency, which I never intended to do. And so even just this week, I picked up an extra 5 domains. So if a concrete cutter or a builder knocks on my door and they say, I want bathroom renovation leads in this city, I will still pick up new domains of bathroom renovations in that city. So I will continue building out my own websites in that space. So I will still build the client's website, I'll run the Google ad for them, I'll run the Facebook ad for them, but I will also have my own rank and rent properties that will assist that campaign. So I'm still using rank and rent, but a lot of my rank and rent sites are just thrown in for free as part of the marketing campaign for the client. And some of those clients have been with me for more than 10 years, and 10 years later, there are more than 30 of those rank and rent websites that are all pushing leads to that one client. So that one client might be a luxury builder that specializes in luxury bathrooms, luxury balconies, luxury renovations. And over the years, because I've worked with so many other tradies that have come and gone, is I have evolved my rank and rent sites. But your logic is exactly correct. Why don't I just build out 500 sites across Australia on tree removal, lawn mowing? And that's a very logical thing to do. It'll be a monopoly. One, that's quite costly. 2, the diversification across domains. And 3, I just don't need to do that anymore. I still pick up lots of these domains each month because I have clients in that direction. So for me, it's always an investment to have more sites. And if I'm just to loop back around as to why I still do rank and rent, 1, it proves to the potential client that I can rank. 2, I can give value early on by saying, hey, Mr. Client, take these 30 leads, or hey, I'm getting these leads, I don't have anyone to send them to, take them for free. And that's just a good way of building trust. Then, because it's another website, I use it for backlinks. I use it for directory listicles. Now ChatGPT and AI literally quote my directory listicles and say, this is the best boxing gym in Melbourne, because my websites in the boxing gym space are saying client is the best. So you can sell the leads, you can rent the leads, you can use that as trust to sell SEO services. And under all of this is the fact that you've done it, you've proven value first, you've given value first, and you don't need to sell this. There's no sales tactics that needs to sell, hey, here are 10 leads, call them, sell to them. Now, some people don't know how to sell, that's their problem, but we've removed that awkward moment where someone makes a sale and they don't know if they're going to succeed. So this is just an ethical way that I got into this industry. Value first, deliver the leads first. After a while now, I know that I can get leads very quickly in those industries. But yeah, very sensible. Pick a country, dominate that country in a specific niche. It might be window installation, it might be bathrooms. Just make sure that there's a good amount of profit for that business in that space. A pizza shop directory, selling pizzas and kebabs, maybe not such a good idea. But in the trade space, in the service space, like concrete or construction, in many countries, it's a very profitable space. Hope that helps, bro. Good luck, Victor.